Good evening, kids. Welcome to Spittin with Spitter. I'm TJ Spitter. It's Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Before we get this party started, God, that sounded corny. I want to shout out my sponsor, Lehigh Vape. They're located at 822 Nazareth Pike. Go there for all your vaping needs. They have all types of hardware, all types of juice. Tell them TJ sent you. They'll take care of you. Again, that's Lehigh Vape, 822 Nazareth Pike. Now to introduce my guests. First to my right, maybe your left. I don't really. Yeah. Jordan Scott, how are you? Blessings.
I'm good. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Long time. And the infamous, notorious Chris, what up?
What's up, TJ? Jordan, it's good to see you as always.
You too.
It's good to see you guys. The reason why I asked you guys to come on the show today is because you guys are doing something very special for the community. You guys have started the very first annual Lehigh Valley Walk for Recovery.
Yes, we did.
Amazing.
18 months in planning.
18 months in planning. Let's talk. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we had our very first meeting in September of 2019 down at the old former Bethlehem Recovery Center. Chris had called me up, said that his friend Steve wanted to do a walk for people in recovery, was having just a hard time getting like a group of people together to do it and kept getting spun around. And Chris called me, can he call you? Can he get some advice from you? And that turned into me chairing the committee, which I've learned to be very careful what phone calls I accept now, because I never know what's going to happen.
It's tricky when dealing with Chris.
Yes. I thought we talked about pre-game show, pre-show. We work on. I'm already under the gun, bro. I'm already under the gun. But listen, don't be fooled. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
As you should.
I know what I'm doing.
I don't think there could be a better group of people doing something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it started out slow. We put it out on social media that we were going to get a group together to plan this event. And, like people have, come and gone, but fortunately, like there's been a core group of like 5 to 6 of us that have been planning, like I said, since, September 2019, because we didn't know when we started planning that, like 6 months later, we were going to get hit with this massive global pandemic that was just going to shut the world down.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you guys champion recovery so much? I know why I do. I know why I'm an advocate for recovery, but I would like to know why both of you are.
I think for me, it just, I gravitate towards it. My entire life since I got into recovery, in 2012, my whole world has been in some type of recovery community. Like I've been around other people in recovery on like a daily basis. And then I started, like working in the field and trying to help other people find recovery. Like almost 6.5 years ago, I've been in the field. And like I said, every day of my life, I'm somehow doing something in the recovery community. And I see all the time, like the barriers for people in recovery, whether we're talking about like the stigma or we're talking about, criminal justice issues, housing, all those different social issues that affect everybody in recovery. And people don't feel like they have a voice. They feel marginalized.
Right.
And I think I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. So what better way for me to be a part of the solution than to do whatever I can for my community, whether it's be an advocate, whether it's, call out stuff when I see it. Like I said, I don't want to be a part of a problem. I like being a part of the solution.
Excellent. And what about you, Chris?
And so it begins. So first I want to say, I'm fortunate to have you two guys, and that's not just for the sake of the show. You guys have been in my life a very long time,
Absolutely.
And Jordan and I won't, Jordan and I were a part of when Battleborn started. Like Jordan is one of the founding key members of this organization. And I'll get to that in a second. But one of the things we talked about when we were formulating this organization is of how we are like-minded and we're connecting with other like-minded. I mean, what is that old birds of a feather flock together? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who your crew is, from our life experiences, who we're going to need to get on the team to get the job done. I know that if it's about recovery, you two have your names on it, point blank simple. But before I say another word, because I promised myself, I wish the people that are watching this, like I know people that are watching this know me, but I wish they could see me more on a regular like you guys do, because you guys know I get super excited and I'll go like 90 miles an hour ahead of myself and I will completely forget to stop and really just touch on what's really in my heart about this walk. And first and foremost, before I get excited about how well it turned out, how much we surpassed the goal, how important it is, that we're doing this. I want to take a second and recognize not only Jordan, who's on the screen, but tonight our buddy Steve, who Jordan mentioned as well, and the 12 silent committee chair members that are not in this podcast right now that have pulled this off in a fashion. We could never have done this without every single person. It's not like, oh, Jordan did it, Chris did it, Steve did it. We did it together. The motto is, and Jordan helped formulate the motto, together we rise. We worked hard, like Jordan said, the last year and a half, meeting regularly. Then COVID hit. We ran into barrier after barrier. The original plan was Walters Park, Chappelle Park, downtown Easton, had to be reformulated to Bethlehem, back to this location, back to the original spot, man. That's the original plan. It was always supposed to take place between Easton and Peaburg. And now here we are back in the Berg. We'll talk about that in a minute, TJ, the Berg, right? We had to keep up with sponsorships, man, keeping up with, locations and barrier after barrier. So before I say another word, I want to say I'm forever grateful to these individuals like Jordan, Steve, Phil, Shelly. I mean, there's 12 people on this committee that made this happen. And, my little saying, teamwork makes the dream work, right? So I wanted to get that out of the way.
Well, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. And now we're done. Now we don't have to tell all those stories about my childhood.
What?
I'm sure we can get at least one in later.
We're going to get a couple.
Sure.
TJ, let's go. We're going to talk about the 3 people, my name. We're going to get all. Listen, this has been a long time coming.
Why are you gravitated toward the recovery field? And if you could share briefly a bit of your story to what brought you here.
For me, like I said, I've been in the field now, like 6.5 years. And I don't know, like I got into recovery myself after using for, it was like 12 years, starting when I was 14, got into recovery when I was 26. And I was constantly caught in that wheel of facilities, institutions, get better, for years. And like the job that I do now, being a certified recovery specialist, I wish I had something like that all the different times that I tried to get into recovery. Somebody
so
to
different now.
Yeah, somebody to just like, I get to guide people through their early recovery, and I get to help them become self-sufficient, build a new life for themselves, and remove every barrier they encounter. Like I wish I had that all those times that I was cycling in and out. And there's something about like meeting with an individual for the first time and and they have destroyed their life. They're starting over from ground zero, and to work with them, week after week and then month after month. And then finally I'm sitting there and, we're doing their discharge paperwork and reflecting on what they did and looking back and just seeing being able to sit front row and watch somebody start their life over and accomplish goals, you know, graduate college, get their kids back from the system, successfully get off parole, get married. Like I've been able to watch so many individuals just start their lives over and be a version of themselves that they never thought that they could be, and that society has told them they're never going to be.
Right.
I've always said, if you can place a room full of individuals together, they could probably take over the world and run the world. We are some of the most smartest like people, or it could go really bad. I'm not sure.
It'll take us a while to get organized, maybe.
Yeah,
but eventually
we get there.
Chris, what brought you? Why are you gravitated toward recovery? What brought you here?
How long's the podcast? So it's no secret, right? I'm no stranger to the, let's just say, not so productive lifestyle, right?
Sure.
You know, what brought me here to the recovery lifestyle, what brought me here to Battleborn lifestyle was, you know, after the military, I know a few of my brothers have been on your show, and they kind of talked about it at home, why we do what we do. You know, coming home from the Marines and not even identifying as a veteran for almost 15 years. Getting involved in negative stuff, drugs, alcohol, depression, you name it, stuff I'm not really comfortable talking about. I don't know if you caught it, but like for a second when Jordan was talking, man, like tears came to my eyes, because it's those blessings that we talk about that we forget, right? Like, you know, the things that I got now are the things that I prayed for. You know, the problems I got today in life are the problems I used to pray for. Like, someday I hope to have these problems. And then I get them now and I'm like, oh, these freaking problems. Like, I prayed for these problems, man. Like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? And then just like wandering around and getting involved in everything and anything that wasn't positive, man, you know, jail, rehabs, you know, you name it. We don't need to get into it. But the exact nature is, you know, then just one day going out to help a bunch of homeless veterans, I was like, man, this is it. Like, I found a purpose, you know, and you know, I'm a big believer in, I used to wander around like hoping to find a purpose. Like, maybe I'll find my purpose. Maybe I'll find my purpose. I figured out, like, it took me 46 years to figure out, instead of trying to find one, why don't I just create one? You know, I created it. The purpose is, you know, to help. No better person to be in the trenches. You know, I'm going to jump to be in the trenches than somebody who's been where I've been, you know. So now that's the mindset. Like, do my best on a regular basis to keep my shit out of trouble. And if I'm someone who couldn't identify as a veteran, didn't want to get honest about where I was mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because, you know, we're men and we're not supposed to talk like you know, all that bullshit that we get wrapped up in, right? There's got to be other veterans out there that are going through the same thing. For sure. So, you know, I had this idea, and because it's an accolade to Jordan. Like, I remember like saying to Jordan, like, man, I'm so sick of watching these nonprofit organizations, and they say they do this and they say they do that, and, you know, like, I don't think they're really trying to do what they say they want to do. And it wasn't to downplay them or talk negative. I just was like, I wish there was an organization that was working together with other organizations to get the needs of these guys met, you know. And she was like, well, let's do it. You know, her and my wife and Jessica were like, let's do it. What are we waiting for? And I was like, wait, what? No, I was just talking shit. She's like, no, let's do it. So, you know, you can't say shit around Jordan, my wife.
Not to interrupt you, Chris.
Yeah. You
just said you were just talking shit. I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, no, I'll talk shit once in a while, you know.
Never.
Yeah, I was just thinking out loud. You know, I really you know, be careful what you say. You know, what you say can and will be used against you, right? I know you ain't no stranger to that. All right, then. Starting off.
Listen, I'm just happy to be here. Hey, real fast, we got some comments coming in. DJ Ben Working, my guy, what's happening? Chris Van said, what's up, guys?
Hey, Chris. I grew up with Chris. My man, Chris and Chuck Van. P. Berg.
Another Mercer Street guy.
More people I can get stories from.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was going into this walk? What was your goal?
We, that first meeting, that was, what we talked about. Like, what are we doing here? What's the end goal? And the one thing that everybody agreed on was to keep it low key, organic, grassroots, and raise money to benefit other local grassroots organizations.
Yeah.
We just, to raise money and really for the money to go directly back into the community. Because like Chris said, the problem is, like millions of dollars have been thrown at the opioid epidemic, right? And recovery in general. That money is not getting to our local communities. It's not getting to our local organizations, because I don't know if you've ever seen what goes into writing a grant. A several $100,000 grant. Like it's not playtime, right?
Yeah.
Your
I only
local.
say not to interrupt you, but I was a part of the grant writing process when I was with Family Guidance. Not a part of the process, but I got to sit in and watch what went into it. And bless your soul.
I mean, it's right. So, major corporations and organizations, they hire grant writers, right?
Right.
Because they're after, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. Your local, nonprofit in your community isn't getting that money. They don't know how. And for me, I get tired of all the politics and the popularity contests that happen in the recovery community, the drug and alcohol world.
Right.
The people that want to be gatekeepers, this and that. Like, my mouth gets me in trouble on a regular basis, but that's another podcast.
You see why she hangs out with me?
And
real conducive for each other.
Yeah. I said we just wanted to just raise money for our community. No fluff, no glamour. Just get people together, have fun, and know that the organization that we have chosen, like, I know where their money's going. Voices for Change is an amazing organization. So is Northbound and Co. and Battleborn. I know where the money's going, right? I know where every single dollar of donations is going. And the fact that we were able to raise what we were it blows my mind.
So the three organizations that you guys have chosen to distribute this money to are who?
So Battleborn, Northbound and Co.
Okay.
And Voices for Change.
Amazing. And how much? Yeah. What was your goal? How much did you guys goal wise want to raise going into this?
So before we pump out the revealing, the inquiring news, right? Hold on, because that's the icing on the cake. So TJ, I got to back up for 1 second because Jordan said something. Two very key points I just want to touch on quick. Number one, the walk was all about the community. It's always been about straight up giving back to the community. That committee, our committee, took a very long time with nominating organizations and vetting them and saying, all right, which one of these guys are really like boots on the ground type operation? You understand what I'm saying? Like, who's the guys that aren't running around with $1 million grants and that are really taking the money and putting it right back into the community, right?
Right.
And there were actually, we got to just touch on it. There was 3 original organizations that were chosen, but since the time of the walk with the pandemic, 1 folded. Okay, so there was actually original 3 other organizations, and 1 kind of like succumbed to, the dealings of life on life's terms, and they're no longer in existence. But the point is, that's when we stepped in and put it like we kept the 3 organizations, and we still divvied it up, so Battleborn being 1. So now, that being said, originally there was 4 organizations totaling the split, and 1 since then, subsided, and we decided not to like try to throw another organization there at the last minute and just keep it simple this year. And I'll just say this, the original goal, and I'll let Jordan tell you what was raised, but the original goal was like when Steve came to us and was like, I want to do this walk. And I went to Anthony Duran, who you guys know, I went to Ant and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And he was like, dude, I love it. It's vets, civilians. We're doing it together. We're showing unity in the community. You know, all that good stuff that we always preach about that we want to actually practice. You know, we were sitting down and we agreed to do the walk. And then I called Jordan, Steve, and I said, Steve, we'll do the walk only on one condition. And Steve was like, what's that? I'm like, Jordan Scott is the chair. She knows what she's doing. She'll take care of the walk. She'll do what she does. We'll do what we do. He's like, Chris, no qualms out of me. Do what we got to do to get it done. Point of the story, when we first sat down, Steve, Jordan, and myself, we were like, man, if we could put together $3 grand and give each organization $1 grand a piece, right? Northbound & Co., Voices for Change, and the third organization that no longer is in existence, so we don't need to mention their name. If we can give them $1 grand a piece, you know how much money that is? You know how excited we get about like $1 grand, what they would do with $1 grand? So our goal was $3,000, $1,000 for each organization. I'll let Jordan tell you what this committee did on that.
Jordan, what was the total? Let's get to it. Chris is like Spike Lee. He will set the Knicks up like, here, let me give you the best Grammy speech ever.
Build it up.
We'll be right back after this commercial.
We don't have a complete total yet because we still have some vendor checks that we're collecting today. But from what we have raised in sponsorship and 2 fundraisers that were able to happen to raise money for the walk, we collected slightly over $12,000. So after, you know, we take out the cost of t-shirts, signs, a banner, we're going to have a really awesome open air photo booth there with our own customized photo strip with the logo on it. So after that, you know, that we tried our best to keep overhead as low as possible. And allowing ourselves a little bit of a nest egg to start up money for next year. Each organization will get a check for $3,000.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Like when you first hear.
Chris, relax. I'm gonna need you to relax a second. I got some comments that are important that I need to get to here.
Go to it.
I know you're excited right now. You're on a 12.
I told you, once I get warmed up, it's over, bro. I'm warmed up now. You're fired.
Missy Fisher says, hello, TJ, Jordan, and Chris.
Hi, Missy.
This is the comment that I wanted to get to. Joel said, the last time I was home, I stopped by to see Joey Duran's bench, and I loved it. The placement, the bench was beautiful. I know the Duran family truly appreciated that.
That's why we do this, man.
You know, I went to school with Joey. I'm friends with the family. Such an amazing family. And that's what this is all about, right? Chris Vance said, this is awesome. My fiance is and has been a drug counselor for the state of South Carolina. Yeah, this is this is amazing work that you guys are doing. Joe, my brother, I love you to the max, bro. You know that already. You know how I feel about you and your entire family as well. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking with my wife the other day. I said, hey, what are you doing Saturday morning? She said, nothing. I said, well, what time do you have work? And she told me the time. I said, well, I think I'm going to go walk in this recovery walk. And she had asked me if I was speaking because I really don't show up anywhere unless I get asked to speak. And I said, no, this one is very important to me, to where like I just have to show up and I have to be there and support. You know, you were there. You came in when I was there.
Yeah.
You know, now we're going many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been fighting strong ever since. I grew up with Chris, you know, and here we are. Hold on a second, buddy. We got you. There you are. You okay, pal?
Yeah, I'm good.
Give you a little air hug.
I'm good.
For me to walk.
That it was a computer malfunction.
Wow. like for me, the walk is important because like the Lehigh Valley is important to me. You know, this is where I started my life over. You know, walking out of Keenan House with a giant grocery bag full of clothes, and like that's all my possessions in the entire world. And you know, I didn't have any plans on staying here permanently. It was in my mind, like I'm getting back to Delaware, going back where I belong. And now I've been in the Lehigh Valley. It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
And I've built I've built a great life here. You know, made my own recovery family, you know, back in college student, you know, at Penn State where I wanted to go to my entire life, a career that I love. So, you know, Lehigh Valley is special, and we have really amazing grassroots organizations here. That, like Chris said, are boots on the ground. Like
Right.
they are out day after day, like doing exactly what they tell the community I'm going to do. And like for me, and I think, you know, this climate is kind of shifting. I'm ready for organizations that have some accountability.
Absolutely.
Like I'm ready to start asking questions of like, what exactly are you doing? And, you know, I hope that at some point, all that money that's being thrown at, you know, the substance use and epidemic really does get to the grassroots organizations, and it, you know, and we stop swallowing it up with CEO salaries and marketing people. Like I know marketers for treatment facilities that make 6 figures a year.
Right.
Like for what, honestly. And really put it into the hands of the community. You know, there's a saying, nothing about us without us. Don't make decisions about us without us. Include us at the decision-making table and include us in the funding, because we know what our community needs. The people in recovery are the recovery experts. So,
and I find myself questioning, and I have made some waves and caused some rifts. Why haven't I heard your name or your organization in my area when everybody knows that everything that is recovery based, I know about? You know, one way or another, throughout the 7 degrees of separation, I'm gonna either find out about it, it's gonna land on my table, or I'm gonna hear about it. You know, like nothing without us. Period.
Yeah.
Chris, how you doing over there? You all right, bud? Seems Chris is frozen up. I'm going to get to the comments. Misty Fisher wants to know, can anyone do this walk? And if so, when is it, where, and what time?
Yes, Missy, absolutely. So Saturday, Walters Park in Phillipsburg. It starts at 9 o'clock. The walk itself, we're going to start that about like 10:15, 10:30. And we're probably going to be wrapping up the event around 1:30. There's going to be live music. We have an amazing national anthem singer. We have a ton of educational vendors coming out. I said the photo. Did I say the photo booth? Anyway, an awesome open air photo booth. And it'll be a really good time.
Jordan says, I couldn't agree more. Or I'm sorry, you're Jordan. Joel said he couldn't agree more. He's lived all over the country from base to base. And home will always be Phillipsburg and that community. Most definitely, Joel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There he is. You all right, pal?
Back again.
Yeah, something's going on. I caught the end of Joel's thing, but I wanted to touch base, man. I didn't mean to get a little emotional when I didn't think we were going to get on to the Joey Duran thing, but you guys know that's near and dear to my heart. Personal friend of Joey, personal friend of Anthony's. Love the Duran family. You know, out of the 2 biggest events we ever did at Battleborn, rucking the game balls for the turkey game was great. But putting that bench in, raising that money for the Joey Duran Memorial Scholarship Fund with our first annual ruck was probably one of the proudest things I think I've ever done in my life, next to graduate Marine Corps boot camp. You know, so thank you, Joel. That meant a lot to me. I forget about those things. You know, that's pretty much, that would be the answer to your first question on why we do what we do. How many guys we're losing on a regular basis. Not just veterans, right? See, I heard Misty's question. I caught in at the end. I kind of died out. I don't know if Jordan answered it. But yeah, the walk's for everybody. It's free. It's free. It's 100% free. We want this all to be about community and coming together. Sorry, I came in late. I popped off my.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm lost here. Catch me up.
And we are, we're going to be doing obviously some fundraising between, this summer and next year to generate money for next year's walk. And at some point over the summer, we're going to be asking the community to submit their submissions for who they think we should give the money to next year. Like we said, it's for the community, by the community. And, rather than us committee members just choosing it every year, I want the community to say where their money goes to.
I like it.
And when we say recovery community, like, we're not just talking about individuals who identify as a person in recovery.
Right.
We're also talking about family, friends, allies. They're all a part of the community.
Most definitely.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I know Jordan's aware of this, but I'm just going to reiterate it. We have, just off the top of my head right now, we have 3 families coming this Saturday who themselves are not in recovery, but they lost two of the families lost a brother, and one lost their father. So those 3 families are coming, and my goal is to do my very best. I told each one of them to come find me. I want to connect them together. See, and like Jordan talked about, right? Here's what I get a lot at Battleborn. Like I get this a lot, man. Like, this is the biggest misconception I think I've ever heard since we started doing this mission, right? Is like, people automatically hear the word recovery and they assume that has something to do with drugs and alcohol, right?
Right.
And I'll admit, misinformation by misinformed people. I used to think the same thing. Oh, recovery, what do they have? They have a drug problem? They have an alcohol problem?
I'm sure we all have experienced that.
People are recovering from many, many more things than just drugs and alcohol. We have vets that come to our support group that don't have a single substance abuse problem. Not a single problem. But they're struggling with other things that they're trying to overcome from their service in the military. So I think when you say recovery, it's such a limited, you got to be careful not to put limitations on that word.
Right.
Just my experience, you know what I mean? So
Jennifer Kellner, I'm not really sure who that is. Like my eyes, I've been fighting this eye doctor for about, 5 years now. And I'm at the point now to where I have to go. I said, thanks, babe. I'm proud of what you do, maybe.
Jennifer Kellner. Thanks, babe. Is she on the right podcast?
I'm not sure.
Jordan's
the be revealed.
Jordan's the best looking one out of all of us, so she got to be talking to Jordan.
Most definitely talking to Jordan. Joel said mental illness, PTSD.
Absolutely.
There's so many things that you can survivor's guilt. My God, that's
Joel's my man. Hey, Joel, I hope Joel can hear me, but Joel, here's one we don't ever talk about. Ready? I don't even know if Joel's going to type this before I say it. How about moral injury? How about things guys had to do while they were in the military? Or, ready? How about civilians? Things that they had to do on the street to survive the addiction that goes against all their moral code of conduct and value. Whoa.
Chris, you know me personally.
Yeah.
The man I was out in them streets versus the man I am now is light years difference.
I do know you personally, and I was gonna, it's funny because I've heard my name.
Time out. Jennifer is Chris Vance's fiance. We got to the exact nature of who Babe is.
Woo! My wife's watching this.
Well, Jennifer, one professional to another. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for what you do.
She says she is a behavioral health counselor. I'm an addict in recovery, celebrated 7 years, April. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
This is what this is about for me. It's about the light in their eyes when they walk in and say, listen, I don't know what y'all can do for me, but I need help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that soul recharge, if you would.
Yeah, I think like Chris, you know, Chris brought up a good point. Like it's the recovery community is supposed to be inclusive of anybody who identifies as being in recovery and whatever that means, you know, like Joel brought up, you know, mental health, abuse, you know,
survivor's guilt.
Food. I mean, honestly, anything because you know, I had a supervisor tell me many years ago that everybody is in recovery from something.
Absolutely. Misty Fisher says she's celebrating 6 years come September 6th. See, look how amazing this is.
Congratulations, Misty. That's amazing.
So, Chris, now you were saying something about 3 times something. What?
Oh, yeah. Spitting with Spitter. Here we go. So I've heard the word on the street is, first, before I say this, let me say this. All right. So it's funny how life is full circle, right? Like the word on the street is my name has been brought up on Spittin' with Spitter 3 times. And I'm going to call them out. Damon McCauley, Anthony Duran, Battleborn board member, Joey's brother, and Zach, I think it was Zach Myers, right? 3 dudes who I've known since, well, Damon's older than me, but like Anthony and Zach, you know, a long time since they were little kids, you know, and here's the irony of the circle of life for those of you that don't know. So TJ is going to probably tell this story because I heard it was brought up on Spittin' with Spitter already a few times about how maybe when these guys were little kids, they might have looked up to me. But the irony is now I look up to them, not literally, but figuratively as well. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of what you're doing, bro. I don't always get to chime in, but man, like from knowing, like you said, and I'm reiterating what you talked about, knowing the man that you and the man that I used to be, the fact that we're sitting here doing anything positive, if you would have told me this, I would have said you're crazy.
I'll take it.
It was not in the plans.
No, it wasn't.
This was not in the plan. This was not in my plan. Listen, when I decided to come, like Jordan talked about, and you talked about when someone walks in, when I decided to do something other than the nonsense that I was doing, all I wanted to do was stop the pain. I didn't want to be no founder of no organization. I didn't want to be on a chair walk committee. I wanted to stop destroying my life and those of the lives around me. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to stop embarrassing my family. I wanted to stop being absent from my son's life. That's all I wanted to do, man. I didn't want to do nothing else. You know, but as we stay here, you talked about it. New possibilities arise, right? Lost dreams awaken, as they say. All those slogans. But yeah, the word on the street is my name came up a few times in this podcast. And I said joking around, I'll say it again. I'm happy that my name is coming up in a positive light for once in my life.
To get to the exact nature.
Oh, here we go.
When I first started doing the show, I was trying to line up guests on who I thought people could become inspired by. And you have forever inspired me because I don't know too many fighters like you that have that fight, that have that grit, there's no will to quit in you, you know. And then Battleborn got started, and you know, to be able to watch that from a distance, and also to say, when I was 9 years old and you pulled up in something beautiful on the corner of Lewis Street where you lived, I said, I want to be just like him when I grow up. To be here right now, you know, the reason why your name was said so many times is because we were trying to get you on the show for this reason. You know, so here we are.
Yeah.
Look at you. Are you crying?
No, dude, allergies. Pollen's bad.
Me too, yo, my eyes are so bad. They're so puffy.
Yeah, your eyes are bad, bro, because I'm definitely not crying. Definitely
my eyes are, I woke up, I sounded like James Earl Jones. My eyes were swelled up. I was like, oh, this is wonderful.
If you believe that I'm not crying, I got a bridge for sale for you.
In Brooklyn.
I was going to say, Chris, don't you have to put $1 in the jar every time you tell a lie?
Yeah, Josiah's going to college. I'll just tell you that right now. But no, I mean, it does, you know, it's okay. Like probably 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have got a tear out of me. You know, you would have got a tear out of me. You would have got this cold, you know, didn't give a shit about nobody. And you know what? I'm okay with that today. You know, my friend Damon, who got on the show, always tells me it's okay to cry. It's becoming, you know. I think, you know, it's a good thing, you know, and I'm crying. They're not tears of sadness. They're tears of joy. Like, they're tears of joy. They're tears of, like, when you talk and listening to and see, TJ, I've been at every one of your celebrations, right? Every one. I missed, I think, one with the COVID, but I've been at every celebration. Even on nights I had something to do, you said, yo, I'm celebrating, bro. I made it there. That's how, you know, important that is to me. Because, like, these guys don't know. They know some of them know Spittin' with Spitter. They know TJ now. They don't know TJ in the Berg. They don't know TJ and Jimmy Yarnell running the streets acting like nuts. Right? They don't know those kids. I know them little badass kids. You think Bebe's kids were bad? Let me tell you about TJ. All right, that's enough.
I appreciate that, bro. And you know, it's funny that, like, the family that you gain along the way in this journey. You know, I remember me and Jordan attending the same thing together for years. And what a fucking headache that was.
How about the life of, like, you know, this blows my mind. I show my son all the time. How about you growing up running around with my brother acting like knuckleheads, right?
Right.
Now, how about both of you today he's doing great. You're doing phenomenal, right? How about his son is a Marine, currently stationed in California. My nephew is a United States Marine, right? Coming from a father and an uncle who couldn't get their shit together. This kid's a Marine, and you had my brother's son in your video when you did the anti-bullying video. My nephew was 13 years old. You know, like, I show my son his cousin in your video. Like, who would have thought we'd be here?
I'm just happy to be here.
Me too.
Because I know what the ladder would have been, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
I just want to say I'm proud of both of y'all, man. Like, because I know we all know firsthand what it's like to wake up and not want to wake up. What it's like to get up and I don't want to get in the shower today. I don't want to go outside today. I don't want to do none of the shit that I have to do. You know, but just muscle through that shit and get it done. I appreciate both of y'all so much for coming on and sharing about the first annual Lehigh Valley Walk to Recovery. It's a beautiful thing. It's going on Saturday, 9:30 a.m., Walters Park. If you're in the area, come. It's free. Bring a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
The weather is going to be beautiful.
It's
on Saturday.
We got a band. Listen, I don't think we got all into the nitty-gritties. I know the flyer don't say it all. We got an amazing band that's playing. We got a national anthem singer that'll make you cry. You'll think it's Whitney Houston's little sister, okay? My man Matt J's barbecue is coming with some phenomenal food. It's going to be an amazing time. Thank you to the Town Council of Phillipsburg and DJ for hi Bree. That's my niece right there. Yeah. Hi Bree. I saw your comment.
The fact that you're gonna read it, hey Uncle Chris,
Yo, listen, come on out. You don't have to be in recovery. Come out, support the community, man. How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong? And
when you were off the air, Chris, I had said to Jordan, I had asked Jackie, I said, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm going to go to this walk. And Chris, you know me, I really don't come out the house for too much. And she said, are you speaking? I said, no, I'm just going to walk. And like her eyes lit up. And I said, yeah, this is something very special to me that, you know, I think everybody needs to attend. Now, my only question is how many times we got to walk around Walters Park?
Just 2.
Okay. I just need to get the exact nature of how much I'm going to be sweating.
That's
okay. Just 2.
It's really, and you know what? Everybody keeps asking me the same question too, like on the low, like, yo, is it a 5K? I'm like, man, 5K? Who walks? What do you want to walk a 5K for? I got a car. I'll drive you around the park. Listen, it's about just getting out there. Listen, if you walk 3 steps and chill, no one's monitoring you. The walk starts. It's like we're gonna walk for so long. You can walk 40 laps. You can walk 4 steps. You don't gotta walk nothing. It's just about the event. Come on out, see the vendors. The vendors are going to be there. Our sponsors are going to be there, talking about who they are and what they do. It's just to bring the community together. Listen, I got to say one thing. I know you got to go, TJ, but you talked about when you hear of an organization. Do you know how many stories I hear working with these other veteran nonprofits in Scranton, Carbondale, all over this Northeast PA, that they get veterans that walk into them that were ready to take their life and found them at the last minute and were literally 5 minutes away from that organization and didn't know they existed. Guys, you can't even imagine the detriment that does to me when I hear those stories, that people were ready to check out, stumbled on an organization that saved their life. So people coming to this walk, you don't have to be in recovery. Let's say you come to the walk and you learn about the groups that are going to be there. CARES, parent to parent, family guidance, right? All the different programs that are coming. Now you happen to go to your job the next day and find out your coworker is struggling. Boom. You just got a whole list of resources to break them off with. You know what I mean? This thing is big. This thing's bigger than Nino Brown. You know what I mean? TJ, I had to get crazy.
It's bigger than Nino Brown, baby. It's bigger than Pookie.
It's big business.
It's big business.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to keep you guys all night. I always ask my guests before y'all get out of here, because I asked all the questions, blah, 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 blah. Is there anything you guys want to ask me?
Are we getting our free Texas Roadhouse gift cards for this interview?
Wait a second.
That's what you said.
You done fell and bumped your head twice.
Jordan, didn't he say a massage?
Free Texas Roadhouse. You're wild for that.
I'm not in between this.
I do have a question. Could we take a moment? Could we take a moment and just a silent prayer of your choice for 2 things? For all those lost to the addiction, the PTSD, any of the struggles that we talked about in recovery, and for Steve, who is the idea behind the walk, who was supposed to be on this podcast and is currently in the hospital. He's dealing with some health issues. So if we could just ask the Facebook community, whatever you do, thoughts, prayers, well wishes, universe, God, I don't really care. Just take a second to just touch with whatever you do and just send out that good energy and that vibe for those people lost. And for Steve, that would be the biggest, I would be forever grateful for that. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
That's how you use the question period.
Well, I forgot, man. I told you, I get excited, it's over. It's a wrap.
Jordan, is there anything you want to ask?
Nope. I just want to tell everybody listening to just come out Saturday. And thank you, TJ, for having us. And I'm glad you're going to be able to come.
Most definitely. Guys, again, Saturday, 9:30 a.m., Walters Park. Everybody knows where Walters Park is at.
What?
Lehigh Valley's first annual Walk for Recovery. Be there. I'll be there. They'll be there. Come out. Again, this is Spittin' with Spitter. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched. I appreciate all the comments and the people chiming in with their clean time. To me, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Joel said he'll be there in spirit.
Awesome.
Chris will be there in spirit. We got a bunch of people that are going to be there in spirit. I love it. I hope you guys have a good night. It's Spittin' with Spitter. For all your vape needs, go to Lehigh Vape, 822 Nazareth Pike. Again, go there. You tell them Large Marge sent you. They'll take care of you. My guys, have a blessed evening.
Thank you,
we will
TJ.
see you. Have a good night.
Bye.